Yeah, 2-hour and 20-minute game. Maybe less than that. Yeah, you're welcome. The wind played a factor in that, though. Okay. A couple quick comments, and then we'll take your questions. First of all, congratulations to our young men. Hard-fought victory. Really impressed with the way Portland State came back and kept fighting. Well-coached team. Bruce and his crew do an awesome job, and they present some challenges. You can see they can run the ball. We made them one-dimensional, but you know what? They spread it out and did a nice job of kind of dialing up some stuff. They had some whip routes. We had to mix coverages. We played a lot in the second half, and so credit to them in terms of their resiliency and their ability to keep fighting. I told Bill on the way over, I said that's a game that we probably lose a year ago. And we did lose a number of games very similar to this a year ago, where we have a lead, they start creeping back, our guys take their foot off the gas pedal a little bit, and I thought we just responded really well in all three phases. Certainly wasn't the cleanest football game, and I would think that Bruce would say the same thing. The wind was a huge factor today. When you had the wind in your face, it was very difficult to throw the football, and I think that played a role in really our play calling. And I thought Chris was very efficient. He had the one tip pass that they got an interception on that led to a score in the first half, and other than that, he made good decisions. Even when things weren't there, he got down, took what was available, and thought our offensive line did a nice job at times. We really didn't have as much for Troy in this game plan, and Edward Vander had a little ding, and Troy stepped in and did a great job. And so, I thought our defensive line was able to apply pressure consistently, which is something that we've struggled with at times. Now, we got a little fatigued there at the end of the game, and that was an issue in terms of them being able to get back in and get a score. But wins are hard to come by, and, this sets us up for a huge game next week against Eastern Washington. So with that, I'll take your questions.
Can you talk about the first drive coming out of halftime? Almost a
Yeah.
copy of what Weaver did last
Yeah, I was kind of thinking the same thing. A 6-minute drive, very efficient, went down, put the ball in the end zone, sends definitely a message to the opponent that, hey, we're ready to roll. They had the win, so obviously keeping them off the field when they had the win was a pretty significant part of the game. And then not only that, but then they have the special teams miscue that leads to a touchdown. So I think that was really the game right there. Boom, boom. We got 14-point swing right in midway through the third quarter, and again, credit to them. They came back and fought a little bit, and we did some things that didn't give us an opportunity. We should have probably put a few more touchdowns on the board, and we can't do that against a good team. So hopefully, I know we'll learn from that and continue to improve.
What was the plan for Troy coming into the game?
Well, we were probably going to play him on some defense. And, after Edward went down a little bit, he kind of became, he's got a lot of banked reps at running back, and a very versatile young man. Played a lot for us on special teams today, which we hadn't been doing with him because, we're trying to take some hits off of him because of his role at running back. And so things kind of switched. You saw Ballou play a lot, and I thought Ballou did some nice things. And so, you got to be able to adjust. And I was very pleased with the way our guys handled really everything that was thrown at us in terms of whether it was an injury, whether it was a game situation. They just kind of responded and did what they needed to do to he's a talented young man and brings a lot of value to our organization.
You guys had a lot of. Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, talk about the offensive line production today, over 400 yards rushing.
Yeah, well, when the wind's blowing the way it is, you got to run the ball, and they were packed in. And I thought Chris did a tremendous job of making decisions, putting the ball in the right places, and when things weren't there, cutting our losses, not putting us in a situation where we we're going to be behind the chains too much, and really proud of the way the guys up front responded. I thought the matchup was good for us there, and those guys worked hard all week to be ready to go operate. And these guys play a lot of four-lock. They'll put a lot of guys at the line of scrimmage. The safeties are cinched down tight, and it's difficult at times to get movement between those tackles because they kind of just wad everything up and funnel it out to the linebackers. And so we were able to get some good yards between the tackles, which is hard to do against Portland State. And then once we soften them up inside, then things open up on the perimeter for us.
At what point did you realize the wind was going to be a significant factor?
When I walked over here this morning. Yeah, it was, and he knew it was probably not going to get, as the day went on, it was more likely going to start to gust more. And so that's just part of the deal. And I was really pleased with our ability to kind of modify the game plan, play a different style if we needed to. Definitely, affected the passing game greatly, but you got to be able to play different styles when you play in the Big Sky Conference and you're playing outdoors. And I was pleased with our guys and our coaches in terms of their ability to adjust.
You know what you thought you would out of Mitch?
Yeah, I think he missed a couple reads here and there, but a little rusty. But, he ran the ball hard. You see the physical presence that he brings, and I thought he did some good things for us.
Call that formation with the three running backs directly behind Chris.
We call it I. Capital I. It's Maryland I. It's an old, it's been around a long time, yeah.
You just talk about Brian's creativity today a little bit?
Yeah, I thought, we always have some things in the game plan to try to take advantage of matchups and also get the ball in our hands of our playmakers. One guy that hasn't had the ball a whole lot was Justin Page. And, Justin, we get him playing a little softer because we take that shot down the field at midfield. And that's important. Even if you don't complete those, sometimes that sends a message that you're willing to take those shots. And then I think the biggest block of the day might have been Chris, on number 29 on Spur coming around the edge there. I think he got a turf burn on his elbow. Hopefully he's okay. But did an awesome job there operating that.
Can you take us through the thought process on the play calling on the unsuccessful goal line possession?
Yeah, we were going to go for it, and we didn't get it. I think that was probably and the thought process there was really there was two plays that we had in mind, and that was one was a perimeter play and one was between the tackles, and there was a debate because we had a dead ball, and so there was certainly a debate there as to whether we were going to run the power play or we were going to run the pitch, and I thought their safety 24 really made a great play. Mitch was kind of coming down to seal him, and he just kind of knifed in there. He didn't stay up top. He kind of knifed in there, what we call a sable tackle, and kind of undercut Mitch and got to the backfield. And so, hindsight's 20/20. Maybe we should have gone between the tackles, but felt, obviously that was an opportunity for us to kind of put the nail in the coffin. And even if we don't get it, they're backed up. They got the wind in their face, and so that was kind of the thought process there.
What did you think of Chris's decision-making in the option game, in the zone read?
I thought he did a really nice job.
It seemed like he had a nice bounce-back game after last week. How pivotal was he today?
Yeah, well, and you see how challenging it is to punt in this weather and some of the struggles that they had. And for Jared to go out and handle it the way he did. And they have a really explosive, dynamic return man. He did a good job of keeping the ball away from him, operated very efficiently. I was very proud of Jared and the way he bounced back today.
You mentioned making them one-dimensional on offense. How are you guys able to do that?
Well, I think we're pretty good on the interior D-line. I think we leverage the run pretty well with our interior defensive line. And they have a veteran O-line. It's not like that's a young group that's playing. I think they play 4 seniors up front. And just thought, the guys like Tucker and Zach and Brandon Hayashi and Foe and those guys just did a really nice job of leveraging blocks inside. And we tackled better, certainly, today than we did a week ago. And I think that was an impact in the game.
I think there's something like 4 of 16 on third down. What was the key defensively?
Didn't feel like that at the end of the game. But, I think Ty did a really good job of mixing our coverage looks. I thought our defensive line won some one-on-ones. And not only were we able to flush the quarterback, but we were also able to finish it. And, and I also think, you can also look at the weather a little bit and, not to make an excuse for them, but, you get into third and longs, it's hard to throw the ball when you got that wind in your face in the fourth quarter like they did.
Does the way Troy played today give you second thoughts about his role?
Troy can do a lot of things. And the best thing about Troy is he'll do whatever we ask him to do to help our organization be successful. And that's, like I said, that's probably the best thing about him.
Chad Cano keeps making huge plays on special teams. How impressive is that consistency out of a true
Yeah, I thought he did a great job. He's really embraced his role and has performed very consistent on those units. Another guy that kind of showed up today was Dre Jackson. He stepped up and made a couple of big plays for us, and I think he's just going to continue to progress in that role.
Make them one-dimensional, take away the run game so over there.
I'd say a really big thing is just make sure you get your fits right, technique, making sure everyone's in the right places.
Was that part of the plan? Did you guys feel like if you got them into being one-dimensional and took away the run game, you'd have success?
It's always our plan. Stop the run, like you said, make them one-dimensional, and changes the rest of the way the ball game goes.
You get a couple punts early. Does that kind of build some momentum as the game goes on? Do you feel it kind of building a little bit?
It does. When you get them into those situations where they're forced to punt, it's the results of what you're doing. So it gives you confidence going to the next play and gets you ready.
Could you tell the difference with the way that the offense was being called on Portland State side of things with the wind? If they were going into the wind or away from the wind, did you notice much of a difference?
No, it wasn't a big difference that we could tell. Just they did go a lot of empty. That was something we did prepare for, but other than that, there wasn't really anything that we were too surprised by.
Really stout on third down. What were you guys doing in particular on that down?
Like I said, it comes down to every guy doing his job. It can't be Rambos out there trying to do it all on their own. So all of us working together, fit into our gaps, and making sure we're sound in our technique really let that happen.
How much of a boost did the offense give you on their first drive of the third quarter like that? It seems like you guys might have needed a bit of a second win there.
It's always nice. I'll sit on the bench if the offense is the ones working out there. I don't mind that, but it's always good when you got both half of the teams functioning. gives you confidence, like I said before, and really lets you know that you go out there, you get that 3 and out, your offense is going to go drive down the field.
Which at what point did you realize the fact that the wind was going to play, and then how are you guys able to run the ball so effectively after?
Definitely in the first quarter for sure. We had some plays there where we couldn't connect because of the wind, so we had to realize that it was going to be a running game. So, yeah, the wind definitely had a factor in our passing game today.
I think at one point you guys called it like 25 consecutive runs, so as an offensive lineman, I'm sure you like that.
Yeah, that's what we prepared for all week. Just working on our gaps and understanding that we have to come off the ball in order to win the game, moving the inside 2 guys, and we did that today, and I think that helped a lot.
Did you have a feeling during that stretch that they're not going to be able to stop you?
Yeah, definitely in the third quarter we kept going and going. Every time we ran it was 5 or 6 yards, and we just knew that we had to keep doing that. And, I mean, it got tiring, but we just kept going.
Can you talk about that first drive of the third quarter in particular? That kind of changed the game a little bit.
Yeah, definitely running down there. That was a tough drive, but every time we ran the ball, it was 5 or 6 yards, and the guards played well today. They were able to come off the ball and move the nose and 3 technique, and that's something that played a huge factor in us winning today.
What's it like blocking for a guy like Troy Anderson? It seems like he's always falling forward and kind of picking up big gains.
Troy's really fun to block for. He just brings everything to the game. He has a lot of fun doing it. I mean, I wouldn't want to tackle him. He's moved so fast, and he's a big guy, and he just brings so much energy. It's a lot of fun to block for him.
How were you guys able to clean up some of those penalties that you were experiencing in the second quarter on that one drive? I think there were like 5 penalties on that drive, but you seemed to clean it up in the second.
Yeah, I think that was with a lot of the wind too. It's kind of hard to hear like the motion calls, so we switched over to a silent count where the center was making the calls, and then that helped a lot, having the O-line be able to hear that and not allowing the tight ends to get the motion down correctly. So yeah, we just had to switch it over to silent count.
Is there added importance on finishing blocks on the perimeter when you are running so much zone read stuff, and it does take a little bit of time to develop?
Yeah, when we run zone read, the backside tackle, we want him to try to either lay that 5 or block him down, but we want to try to get to that middle linebacker and seal him inside so Chris has a chance to get outside and kick it to the running back.
Chris, same thing for you. At what point did you realize that the wind was a big factor and that you guys might have to adjust the game plan?
I would say probably late first quarter, early second quarter, just knowing the differences. When you have the wind with you and when you have the wind going towards you, you can definitely tell a difference, and that obviously affected our play calling as well.
What was it like trying to throw into that wind?
It was nothing too crazy. Probably just as comparable as last week, just no rain with wind, but it didn't really affect me at all. But I just had poor passes today, so we decided to go more run heavy.
Did the wind get behind your throw to Justin that was just out of reach there?
I don't know. I got to look back on the film, see the footwork and all that specifically, but just should have been on the money. He was wide open.
How important do you think it'll be in the coming weeks to utilize your receivers and get a better passing game?
Definitely. Obviously, if you can hold one team to being one-dimensional, obviously, you have a better chance at winning. And when the other team is, being consistent at both throwing and passing, it's pretty hard to stop, especially when you're converting on third downs and things like that.
Can you talk about that first drive of the third quarter?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I just knew compared to last week, how important that first drive is, defense or offense, whoever's out there. That's a very important drive to get our energy going for our fans, for ourselves, more confidence in us, and we just really wanted to start off fast again, and luckily we did, and we finally finished in that drive.
What were you seeing in the option game? Not only the zone read, but also the pitch option stuff. Did you feel like you made pretty good reads today?
Yeah, for the most part I did. It's good. There's a couple plays here, just hand off, but yeah, they were crashing most of the time, especially in the first half, and then it was just once I pulled it, just read off the alley defender.
Do those reads become easier when you do run it so many times in a row, like you guys didn't kind of get the defensive end guessing?
I don't know about easier, because definitely what you don't want to do is predetermine the play and just expect what you get from the last play. So you just got to read it out every play, even though it can get boring or something. You just got to stick to the fundamentals.
How big of a boost did Troy, give your offense, kind of coming back to running back in the second half there?
Oh yeah, I mean, he's probably up there with the most physical, and by far, even if he gets tackled by three or four players, he'll carry them for 3 or 4 yards too. So he's pretty physical and pretty fast, as you can see there today.
Were you guys prepared? Nick Lassane in his first game with live bullets.
Can you say that again, please?
Nick Lassane, what did you see out of him in his first game?
He just brought that toughness and physicality to the table like always. He's probably still a little rusty, but the more game experiences he has, especially going to the next couple of weeks, I'm pretty sure he'll be more consistent as well.
What did you think about Troy potentially getting moved to linebacker?
Same thing Coach said. He's a kid that whatever the coaches ask him to do, he'll do it, and he'll do it to the best of his ability.
You guys would like to keep him though, right?